Hello everybody, and welcome to Hero of Law, which is a ROM hack of Ocarina of Time based off the Ace Attorney series. It sounds awesome because I love Ocarina of Time. I also love Ace Attorney, so naturally it's going to be awesome, right? I hope. I've heard good things. Let's go. I think at the start here, this is literally what happens in Ace Attorney games. This game autosaves after each scene. Do not turn off your console during scene transitions. Oh shit. Milk! It's so quiet. Do you think they forgot? Forget a royal visitation? No one could make such a blunder, princess. Well, I guess I should just go in then. Ah! Oh. Oh my god! They even have the text noises and the guards. Wait, this is just GoldenEye music. You'd think that after so many years of doing this, I'd be used to the stress. So I am... Oh, the sound effects, why am I shaking? Gah, I guess it's a lot worse when it's your friend's life that's on the line. Come on, gotta look professional. She can't see you like this. Speaking of her, though, where is she anyway? Hey, you, over there. Aw, what is it, attorney? The trial isn't starting yet. But it will be soon, right? Would you happen to know why my client isn't here yet? I didn't get to speak much with her when she was arrested, so I was hoping I could at least exchange a word with her now. Wahaha! Well, you weren't the sound effects are killing me. You weren't the only one with the idea. I believe she is currently in the prosecutor's lobby. He wanted to talk to her as well. What? What is up with this guy? He bars me from the crime scene, blocks my detention center visits, and now this? Not to worry. She'll definitely be here before the trial. Great. That'll be a joyous 5 minutes indeed. But there's nothing I can do but wait. Sometime later. Okay, this is ridiculous. How much longer can he keep her? Ah, see, there she is. No need to get all worked up. Is something wrong? Did I hear shouting? So much for looking professional. No, don't worry. Everything's fine. This is Malin. Ever since we met in Hyrule Castletown all those years ago, we've been great friends. Her heart's in the right place. I know she cared deeply about her father. If everything's fine, why do you look so worried? Well, how did the investigation go? Did you find anything? Yes, the investigation. I found tons of, groundbreaking stuff. Particularly that my opponent's a real scumbag. What did the prosecutor want from you anyway? Well, it was mostly just threats. He kept explaining in detail what'll happen to me if I'm found guilty. Doesn't sound like a vital discussion that needed to happen right before the trial. He probably just did that so we wouldn't have so much time to talk. You believe in me, right? I didn't do it. I'd never. Of course I believe. Although, I'll be honest, things aren't looking very good right now. What's that you've got there? Oh, this is just a pictograph of Father I carry around. I just can't believe he's gone. Is it gonna be Ingo? Is Ingo the villain? Yeah. I wish I knew how to cheer her up right now. I'm not very good at handling emotional clients. Hey, you know that pictograph could be really useful for the trial. Oh, how so? Well, you look so happy together. I can present it to you, show that you two had a great relationship. You really think so? Ah, well, here you go then. Mountain's pictograph added to the court record. At least I'll be walking in there with something other than my badge. But wait, badge! We shouldn't just be idly chatting. I should make the badge a cheap emote right now. Anyway, there's not much time left. I know it's hard to talk about, but could you tell me what actually happened? I don't stand much chance if I don't know your version of the story. I understand. Unfortunately, the trial is starting, defendant. Attorney, please enter the courtroom at once. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have said that stuff about having no chance. All right. Everything will be fine. The prosecutor's been playing me for a fool since this began, but sooner or later, his arrogance will be his undoing. Let's head inside. Who is gonna be the prosecutor? My name is Link. I've been a defense attorney for the last 7 years. I've won my fair share of cases and lost some too, but this one is personal. There's so much at stake here. Not only do I have to save Malin's life, I gotta find out who did this to Talon. Talon, he was always so kind. He didn't deserve this. I need to do him justice. I can't lose this. Is it the happy mask guy? Is it? It's just Ganondorf. Okay. Court is now in Raruru is Raruru. Court is now in session for the trial of Malin of Lon Ranch. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Look at the little badge in the suit. Dragmire? I sincerely doubt that. What were they thinking? Pitting me against some pathetic kid. Pathetic kid? What gives you the right to? Still your tongue. You bring shame upon the fine color of your hair, vile woman. Before long, the world shall know the horrible deeds you committed. Let us not prolong the inevitable. Shall we begin? Now, this court is no place to be exchanging insults. Since the prosecution seems ready as well, let's hear their opening statement. The opening statement shall also be the closing one. The girl did it, it's obvious. This is very Ace Attorney, they did their homework. She killed her own father in cold blood. Also, she could have the ranch to herself. Couldn't wait for the old fool to die naturally, could you? You greedy little rat. Look at the crowd. Your Honor, you can't allow this man to verbally abuse the defendant like this. Objection. Ha, she committed murder, kid. She deserves every bit of the score she gets. I do believe a little less commentary wouldn't go amiss. Blah. I assure you, old man, you will change your opinion once you see all the damning evidence. These animations are great. Who is this guy? How can you speak to the judge like that? Ganondorf Dragmire. Looks like I've been lucky to avoid meeting this man until now. The stories I've heard about him must be true. A boorish barbarian of a man hailing from the Gerudo province. Apparently he prides himself on the nearly clean streak he's cultivated for decades. All while disrespecting everyone in the courts, including the judge. I've even heard some attorneys refer to him as the King of Evil. I guess this is the timeline that Link doesn't know the shit that happened. Definitely has that look, at the very least. Who wears full armor to courts? Very well, please present your case to the court. Have you played Ace Attorney? This is Ace Attorney, but in Ocarina of Time. Bring Impa to the Sheikah Force of the Sheikah Force to the stand. Well, here we go. The first battle. I know Impa. She's quite a competent detective, which worries me. Please let her have made a mistake just this once. The outfit. The outfits! Alright, state your name and whatever it is you pretend to do. You never change, do you, prosecutor? Any possible change would be for the worse. Now stop wasting time. Name and occupation. Oh, man. Very well. The music is also really funny. I am Impa, head detective of the Sheikah Force, Homicide Division. True for now, at least. Well, what are you waiting for? Start talking. You're the one assigned to this case, so you know all about it. What calamity has befallen our fair kingdom? Still can't be bothered to give a proper opening statement. I suppose I can do the prosecutor's job for him this time, for the sake of an unbiased look. Please go ahead, detective. The incident happened early yesterday morning on Lon Lon Ranch, a local supplier of goods located just south of Castletown. The current owner of the homestead, Talon, was found dead in his ranch house. A tragic loss for our kingdom for sure. I have seen the man around Castletown a number of times delivering goods. Quite. The owner was a rather important figure in the local community. In any case, we were alerted to the scene of the murder by the royal guard who were there on official business. Official business? What kind? As I understand, the ranch provides the kingdom with vital services. To ensure it is operating as it should, and as a gesture of appreciation, the crown orders a visitation to the ranch every year. I see. A scheduled annual visit. Continue, detective. When the Sheikah Force arrives, they found the victim bleeding out onto the floor. Next to him lay his daughter, Mallet, breathing but unresponsive. After a thorough investigation, we arrested her as she was deemed the only possible culprit. That about covers the gist of what happened. Very nice and succinct. Keep that up and perhaps you'll keep your job. Ho ho, I don't think the good detective here has to worry much about that, given she is the head of the department. Which reminds me, why is the head of detectives herself on a case like this? Were the other detectives unavailable? That would be because I have been assigned to this case by order of the King of Hyrule himself. The King himself assigned you? That doesn't happen very often, does it? You are correct, Your Honor. I am not usually involved in field work like this. This time, however, the King felt it necessary because of who is involved. Who is involved? Is the death of a ranch worker really such a concern for the King? Well, as I said, Lon Lon Ranch is a very important supplier of goods, to be sure. But that's not who I meant. I imagine the King wanted the top investigators on this job because it was the royal princess herself who discovered the crime scene. Grumble, 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 grumble. Order! I will have order! The song choices are great. The royal Princess Zelda witnessed the crime. Ha! And there you have it. This case rides on the princess's own words. To doubt, it would be to doubt your own royalty. This is bad. I can't really object to that. Very well. If the princess is testifying today, it's better we don't make her needlessly wait. Detective, please testify about exactly why the defendant was arrested. Witness testimony. Is that in Hylian's script? It is with regret that I agree with Dragmire. All the evidence points towards the girl being the culprit. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside of the ranch house. There were only 3 people on the ranch: the victim, the defendant, and a worker who has an alibi for the time of the crime. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out onto the floor. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. She seems like such a bright girl. It's most unfortunate. Your Honor, I would like to submit these pieces of evidence to the court. First, I have the autopsy report performed by the Crown's top coroner. Here is what we determined to be the murder weapon, which we took from the defendant's hands. To make sure we had the correct weapon, we conducted a very thorough investigation. Naturally, it's the bomber's notebook. Naturally, we searched everyone and thoroughly examined the ranch and its vicinity. Nothing unusual was found, but to be safe, we also checked the ranch's inventory list to see whether anything was missing. The list matches the items we found on the ranch exactly, and nothing but the saw had fresh blood on it. Ranch inventory added to the court record. That does sound quite compelling. This must have been a truly terrifying scene. Dying from a wound made by a weapon like that is extremely painful. This only helps to prove the defendant's viciousness. At this rate, they're going to paint Malin as some heartless monster. There's one more thing I feel I should mention for the sake of completeness. Shortly after we arrived at the ranch, a courier showed up to take some milk shipments. Of course, business must go on. Hold on. Is this really necessary to enter into evidence, though? The shipments did end up leaving the ranch, so I feel it bears mentioning. What could have been in there? Were the contents checked before you let them go? Naturally. Who do you take us for? Even though the worker handling the shipments did get quite worked up about it, we cracked all the boxes open to check what was inside. In the end, it did turn out to only be milk bottles, so we let them through. Very well. Thank you for your thoroughness, Detective. So, what happens now? Well, this is where I step in and perform a cross-examination. Ah, great. How's that work? Huh? Could you explain what you're going to be doing? Can't hurt to go over this again. The witness will repeat her testimony. I'll be able to scroll back and forth through individual statements by pressing A and B, or with the D-pad/control stick. They'll just repeat as many times as you want. That's right. I have to consider every little detail. Can't miss a thing. If I want more info about something, I can use L or Z to press the statements and ask the witness a question. Grill them for info. Yep. Yeah, since the witness has to... I mean, this is exactly how it works in Ace Attorney, right? Yep, since the witness has to come up with an answer on the spot, if they're lying, prompting for more info can make them slip up. Most importantly, though, if I find something that doesn't line up with the evidence, I can press R to bring up the court record. The court record is basically a list of all the evidence, right? Yes. I can open it at any time if I need to recheck the facts. After choosing the contradicting item, I'll press C up to raise an objection and present my doubts to the court. Oh, and I can not only present evidence, but profiles as well. Profiles? The court record contains a list of all the people involved, too. I can switch between evidence and profiles with R. If I need to review what's been said recently, I can also press Start to see a history of messages. Oh, I see. That makes sense. Is the defense done whispering? Haha, sorry. If you're so upset about it, why doesn't he just press C right to skip ahead? The defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. Bah, a waste of time. I sincerely hope you're not implying that standard court procedure is a waste of time, Mr. Dragmire. In any case, we're ready, defense. All right, here we go. Cross-examination. This is great. Oh, shit, we got concept art from OOT here. All right. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside of the ranch house. Hey-ya! That was good. It's quite simple. There was no blood found anywhere else. Had the victim been attacked at some other location, we'd expect a trail of it leading to the scene. Couldn't the killer have just cleaned it all up? Certainly not. The path to the ranch house along the ranch is not paved in any way. Cleaning blood off the ground would require disturbing the soil. Naturally, we found nothing of the sort. Bah. There wouldn't have been enough time to pull that off anyway. Likely true. Right. It sounds like the location of the crime scene is pretty firm, but I'm not giving up yet. What's the alibi? 3 people, you say. I guess that would have to be Mr. Ingo. Let me stop you before you start getting too excited. If you had listened to the rest of what the detective said, you noticed she mentioned an alibi. Yeah, let's see it. Indeed. We're pretty certain that the ranch worker couldn't have been involved. Well, what is this alibi then? You might remember that I brought up some outgoing milk shipments. Well, the worker, Ingo, was in charge of them. He left the ranch house first thing in the morning and was busy preparing the shipments after that. Is that so? Surely he could have gotten away from that for one really quick little murder. Bah, this wouldn't just be a quick little murder, as you so crudely put it. He'd have to have taken steps to hide his involvement, too. There's definitely not enough time for that. Unfortunately, I agree. Preparing a shipment is a lot of hard work. You have to milk all the cows, clean all the bottles, pour the milk out into them, arrange them all into crates, and finally load it all up into a wagon. So what does Talon do? Usually I had to do it together with Father to finish before the courier arrived. Alright, so here's what you do, right? You stab them, you leave the weapon in their body so it doesn't spill blood, right? And then you only pull it out when the victim is at their location. Yeah. The shipments were already ready when we arrived at the ranch. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim. He was bleeding out onto the floor. Let's listen to everything. What makes you think she's the culprit? She's just about to tell you. Keep quiet and listen. Right. Sorry. Indeed, as I was saying. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out onto the floor. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon without doubt that was used. Okay. And how can he be so sure of this? Look at the autopsy report. Deep, irregular wounds made with a sharp metal object. The saw was the only sharp implement in the ranch house that could produce such a wound. And, as I've already mentioned, we also looked closely at all other sharp things. None had recent blood on them. That still doesn't necessarily mean the saw was the murder weapon. Maybe the real culprit hid the real one. Oh yeah? Prove it then. Show us the real murder weapon. Well, I definitely don't have any way to do that. Still, something bothers me about that saw. So you have nothing? What a waste of time. She seems like such a bright girl. It's most unfortunate. She sure is. We've known each other for years. Yeah, she murdered her father in cold blood. Perhaps you're just bad judges of character, both of you. No way. Just give me some time, and I'm going to prove it. Do you see anything wrong yet? That said, I do think I saw one small thing. Really? That's great. Alright, you've listened to all the testimony. Oh wait, we didn't press on this one. Press everything. Malin fainted? Correct. We couldn't get her to wake for a long time. Eventually, we decided to administer a healing fairy so she could be questioned. I guess finding the body was just that much of a shock, huh? Huh. Probably just pretending. Trying to make it look like she had merely found the body. In any event, attorney's badge, proof that I can stand in court as an attorney. It's the light medallion. Deep, irregular wound made with a sharp metal object. Victim died from loss of blood no later than 8 a.m. Supposed murder weapon found in Malin's hands. Clean of blood. One saw, brooms, axes, horseshoes, saddles, wood saws, knives, hammers, buckets, garden hose, rakes. This evidence reveals a clear contradiction in testimony, Your Honor. I must say, I can't say it's really clear here. Bah, the only thing that's clear here is your incompetence. Shit. Okay, now I know there's health. I think this is a non-statement. Wait, clean of blood. Clean of blood on the saw. Alright, I think we got it. Present. Yeah, the music stopped. That's how you know it's a true thing. Huh, this seems like a fairly large oversight. I just want to make sure of something. The state the saw is currently in is how you found it at the crime scene? That's correct. That's strange, considering how much the victim bled out and how deep his wound was. Why is there no blood on the supposed murder weapon? Ha! Is that all you have? Naturally, the prosecution has an explanation for why the saw is clean. Behold, this cloth was found in the defendant's other hand. As you can plainly see, it is stained with blood. Shit. The defendant simply wiped the murder weapon in a futile attempt to hide her involvement. If Mount was trying to hide her involvement, why didn't she just leave the crime scene? Bah. Obviously, she was trying to hide the body before the royal visitation arrived at the ranch. Unfortunately for her, it just so happened that the delegation arrived quite a bit earlier than scheduled. In a panic, she quickly wiped the saw off and pretended to faint to make it look like she just stumbled upon the scene. Gah. Young lady, things aren't looking very good for you right now. The court accepts the bloodied cloth into evidence. Shit. So, what's the story with this cloth? Well, as I was doing a final check around the ranch, I noticed that part of the fence around the horse paddock was damaged. Not entirely sure when that happened, but sometimes one of the horses just gets a bit too ratty, you know? Right. Anyway, I didn't want to bother Mr. Ingo about it, so I tried to cut up a new rail by myself to patch it up. But then the saw slipped and I cut my hand open. Oh goodness, are you okay? Well, it wasn't that bad. It did bleed quite a lot though, so I used that cloth to quickly bandage the wound. I was actually going into the ranch house to ask Father to help me with the fence. A likely story. And impossible to verify now, of course. The Sheikah force had to use a fairy on the defendant to get her out of her supposed unconscious. I do have to give her some credit. She knew that would explain a sudden lack of any wound on her hands. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, so the fairy just heals all wounds. Oh, why yes, fairies are wonderful. Just the other day, I slammed my hand with the gavel and one took the pain off immediately. Great. Glad to know they're used for such important things. But, dang it. Too bad there's no way to tell whose blood is on the cloth. I do believe this matter has been settled. I'm ready to call my next witness. Uh-oh. That's all I can get out of her? You've served your purpose, Sheikah. Be gone. Fine. But you had best treat Her Highness with respect, or I'll see to it that you spend the night in the dungeons. Do not presume to threaten me, Sheikah. A night of darkness and solitude would be nothing but comfort for me. Is that so? Then perhaps we should fill the dungeons with lit candles for the occasion. They're glaring daggers at each other. If this doesn't end soon, we're all in trouble. Order! Order! I'm sure we'll treat the princess with utmost respect. You may step down, detective. This case has already made me wary with all the pointless jabber. The time is ripe to deal the final blow. I call Her Highness Princess Zelda of Hyrule to the stand. You look a little weird. Is something the matter? Why is everyone quiet all of a sudden? Ah, Your Highness. I believe we're all just a bit uncertain on how to proceed. It is quite the honor to have such an esteemed guest in these halls. Bah! In the face of the law, the princess is no different from a peasant. Name and occupation. Now, the prosecution will behave. I will not have any derogatory statements directed at the princess. Derogatory? I simply wish not to waste any more time. We must employ proper procedure. Oh, man. It is all right, detective. I believe the prosecution does have a point. In the eyes of the law, we are all equals. Implying we're all equal under the law. I should not be getting any special treatment. Very admirable, Your Highness. We can all rest easy knowing that Hyrule is destined to have such a wise monarch in its future. Yes, indeed. I eagerly await the day when our next ruler takes the throne and reshapes the kingdom in their image. You flatter me, prosecutor. Now then, I believe I was asked for my name and occupation. I am Zelda, current Princess of Hyrule and heir apparent to the throne. Marvelous, Your Highness. Before we begin, I would just like to know, why were you at Lon Lon Ranch to witness this terrible incident? Ah, it is simple, really. Lon Lon Ranch is Hyrule Castletown's biggest food supplier. Not only that, but the ranch also equips Hyrule's royal guard with the finest of horses. Every year, the royal family makes a visit as a gesture of goodwill and to ensure the quality of the steeds. Wow, I didn't know your horses were used by the royal guard. Yep. We work hard every year to make sure they're in the best possible condition. Father loved to boast about it to the other ranch owners. Huh. Knowing Talon, I'm sure he did. How unfortunate that the ranch may no longer meet the Crown's high standards under new management. The royal family has a backup, I trust? We are looking for one. Naturally, those standards are quite high. Yes, of course. Now then, please describe what you saw on the day of the incident. Very well. Here I go. Witness testimony. The scene behind the door. I arrived at Lon Lon Ranch a little after 8 a.m., accompanied by my loyal guards. I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. There's nobody there to welcome us. I could sense that something was wrong. I opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. The room was mostly empty. There's a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top of it. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant's act at the ranch owner's chest, with the saw she was holding. What? I was overcome with fear and I screamed. I will never forget what I saw that day. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. I cannot believe she would commit such horrible violence. I can't believe Zelda killed Talon. What? Oh my, you saw the very moment the victim was killed? There you go. Decisive testimony. As there is no need to doubt the princess's statement, I call for the judge to make a ruling right away. Hey now, hold on! I didn't get to cross-examine the witness yet. You haven't, fool, because there's no need. Did you not hear one word of what I said? Didn't you just say we should follow all the procedures and treat the princess like any other witness? This is the defense's rights. Yeah, good job, Link. You complete. I believe the defense has a point. They do have every right to perform a cross-examination no matter who is testifying. I was quite looking forward to this part myself. I've only ever read about court proceedings in the Royal Library. I will not tolerate any reckless accusations toward the princess. Is that clear? Naturally, Your Honor. What's gotten into the prosecutor? That seemed like a rather intense outburst. Well, I do have a guess. Oh? Because of the princess's status, it's possible that Dragmire didn't have an opportunity to discuss her testimony with her. That might mean that this testimony is a surprise, even to him. This could be my chance. I can't believe Zelda killed Talon. Before we begin, there's just one thing that caught my attention. I believe the princess mentioned seeing some kind of glass bottle at the crime scene. That'd be this, I presume. Why, yes, that is exactly it. What is that? Oh, this is the bottle of perfume that Father intended to gift to Her Highness when she arrived. He quickly rode out to town to get it at the last moment. We didn't know that the princess was coming instead of the king until only about 2 hours before the visitation. Oh, how thoughtful. He really did not need to bother himself so. As fascinating as all this is, the prosecution doesn't believe it's relevant to the case. It's good to have a full picture of the crime scene. The defense requests the bottle be accepted into evidence. Bah! Desperate to latch onto every little thing, are you? Whatever. You can add it to the evidence if it'll make you happy. No skin off my teeth. In that case, the court accepts this bottle into evidence. Now then, defense, begin your cross-examination. The scene behind the door. I arrived at Lon Lon Ranch a little after 8 a.m. accompanied by my... Let's look at what we got here. Yeah, if you use the cloth, then... She should have seen the cloth being cleaned, right? We did question the guards, naturally. Apparently, they didn't get to see anything relevant. I was the only one to enter the crime scene. After seeing what was inside, I stood guard and insisted that no one be allowed inside the Sheikah until the Sheikah force arrived. I have read that preserving the scene is vital. Quite correct. I'm sure the guards were absolutely thrilled with this order. Please proceed, witness. Have you conducted these royal visitations in the past, Your Highness? No. This is my first one. Up until last year, my father was always the one to visit Lon Lon Ranch. However, he decided I had to start preparing for all the royal duties that await me, and so I was to do it this time. You will doubtlessly perform admirably as ruler when the time comes. What happened when you got to the ranch house? Defense, I believe I was clear about not badgering the witness. The room was mostly empty. There was a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top. You paid attention to something like that after seeing a murder, Princess? Well, I spent a rather long time in there waiting for the Sheikah force to arrive. Plus, that bottle is quite beautiful. It just stood out. I'm gonna present this. There's something much more damning. Shouldn't play all of my cards this early. Did I skip? Did I skip something? But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest with the saw she was holding. You were there at the exact time of the murder, Your Highness. That is correct. That's impossible. You're lying. The defendant will curb her outbursts. You're addressing royalty. This is really bad. What now? Where were the victim and the defendant at this time? The ranch owner was in front of a little table that was directly across from the entrance door. The defendant was right in front of them and quickly fainted after her attack. A large pool of blood started forming where the victim was. I had a rather good view of the whole scene. Right. It is as unfortunate as it is fortunate that you could see the whole thing in such detail. Now, please continue. No, the place looked empty. Although I did later see a worker pull up a loaded wagon when a courier came asking about milk shipments. It caused a little bit of a scene when the Sheikah force started inspecting it. That worker must have been somewhere else in the ranch, I suppose. The ranch is pretty large. Said worker was inside a building on the other side. It's quite understandable she wouldn't have seen him until later. Drat, this really doesn't give me a whole lot to work with. Should I ask something else? We're not going to accuse Zelda of the crime just now. Trust your heart, Your Highness. You know Mal didn't do this. What nonsense. Her hearts? What do our organs have to do with anything? Oh, of course. Evidence and testimony. Be damned. Just because we feel the defendant must be innocent. Oh, well, if you're sure, then I declare today's verdicts. Have you gone senile, old man? It was a joke, much like the arguments the defense has been presenting. I can't believe the princess would lie like this. Yeah, it really is shocking. You don't believe her, right? Even if she's the princess, that means nothing. I didn't do it. To trust authority of your best friend. Or your best friend. I'll need something very concrete to disprove what the princess is saying. Is that in the inventory list? It's not in the inventory list. This evidence reveals a clear contradiction to testimony, Your Honor. What? The thing was not part of the inventory. Shit. I'm so dead. Oh. Died no later than 8 a.m. Your Honor, Your Highness, I believe I found something that doesn't quite match up with the facts. You will let the defense speak, prosecutor. I think I see why you so desperately wanted to prevent this cross-examination now. Your Highness, you stated that you arrived at the ranch shortly after 8 a.m., correct? Yes, the visit was scheduled for 8:30 exactly, but we were quite a bit early. I see. That makes something you mentioned quite impossible. As stated by the autopsy report, the victim definitely died before 8 a.m. You couldn't have seen the defendant attack the ranch owner when you arrived. Because the victim was already dead by then. Order, order! Yes, you really caught her in a lie. Your Highness, what is the meaning of this? While I wholeheartedly respect and serve the crown, I will nonetheless not tolerate lies in my court. I have not lied, I suppose I did not see the exact moment it happened. I guess I only thought What? What? Princess, this is a matter of life and death. I definitely saw the defendant there, though, along with the body. There's no one else who could have done it. I remember all of the other details correctly. The body's on the floor, the pool of blood. You have to believe me. Perhaps it'll be best if Her Highness revises her testimony. That's not good. There's still not enough doubt to overturn this testimony. I'll have to find something else or this case will be over. What I actually saw. I am sorry for embellishing the truth a little bit. I did not see the actual moment of the attack, but it had to have happened shortly before I went into the ranch house. Miss Malin and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must be the culprit. Wow, Zelda is out for blood. I see. You only saw the aftermath of the scene, not the actual crime being committed. Very well. Hopefully there are no issues in your testimony this time. Defense, it's time for your cross-examination. Naturally, Your Honor. Dragmire still looks pretty angry. I bet you didn't expect such a blatant contradiction to pop up. If I could just find another one like that, the princess's testimony would become completely untrustworthy in the eyes of the judge. I'm sorry for embellishing the truth just a little bit. Why do you do that, Your Highness? There's life on the line here. I really am sorry. I suppose I got a bit too excited about being a witness in an actual murder trial. Really now? Most people hate testifying. Yes, well, the life of a princess is rather boring, you know. This is quite the break from the routine for me. I should just get a hobby then. So what did you see? In that case, it can't be conclusively proven that the defendant did it. Defense, did you exhaust your singular brain cell on that last contradiction you found? There's a Death Mountain's worth of evidence pointing to the defendant. Just because no one saw the actual moment of the crime doesn't mean anyone else could have done it. I think you're making a Death Mountain out of a Death Molehill. Aha. But it had to have happened shortly before I went into the ranch house. How can you be so sure of that, Princess? Well, when I entered the ranch house, the victim still had the murder weapon embedded into his body. What? It is obvious what that means, is it not? The killer did not even have enough time to try to hide the weapon. Yes, I might have not seen the murder firsthand, but I must have been very close to doing so. Oh my. This seems like a very important detail. I think it would be advisable for Her Highness to amend her testimony. Certainly, Your Honor. Interesting. Dragmire certainly doesn't look very happy about this development, does he? Thinking about it, I might just know why. Present the cloth. Now we get to use it. I believe I found another reason to doubt the witness's words. Ugh. It seems the prosecution sees what I'm getting at here. There is a bloody cloth discovered at the scene of the crime. The prosecution has argued before that it was used to wipe the saw clean. If the princess saw the saw lodged into Talon's body and the crime scene was left intact, then it couldn't have been wiped. Well, Prosecutor Dragmire, care to explain? Grah! This is most perplexing. Your Highness, are you sure that's what you saw? Huh. Well, maybe the princess decided to pull the saw out in a valiant yet futile attempt to save the victim? And then wiped the blade clean? That'd be almost like framing the defendant. Of course, I did no such thing. I made sure the crime scene stayed intact. I guess I must have made up the memory about the saw sticking out of Mr. Talon. Zelda? You idiotic girl! Do you even realize what you've done through your bumbling? I'm sorry. I was just so excited to stand as a witness in court just this once. Whenever I try telling my father about anything, he always seems so disinterested. Just this once, I wanted to feel listened to. The defendant, it is clear that she did it. I am sorry for the trouble I have caused you all. Your Highness, the court is no place for silly games. As it stands, I'm afraid we'll have to strike your statements from the court record completely. Yes, I did it. The prosecution lost their key witness. No, please wait. I have more to say. Oh, shut it, Zelda. Go back to your castle. I was wrong about the crime scene, but I still have not testified about what I saw afterwards. Bah. Why would we care about that? It's best that you leave and stop damaging my case with your idiocy. Even if you're not interested in my words, you might be interested in the evidence I found. Nani? Huh? Evidence? Of course. Wow, this is so sketchy. Forced to investigate inside the ranch house. I looked around the rest of the ranch on my own. Did you know about this? Of course I did. No, you didn't. You did? I'll have your head for this. Order, order! What is the meaning of this, detective? It's quite simple. The princess specifically requested to present her finding on her own. What? And you agreed to this? This court is not some playground where children decide when evidence should be presented just because they have a crown. He's being rude about it, but I can't help but agree with Dragmeyer on this one. Also, I don't really buy this story. There's no way Impa would have allowed this. Believe me, I wasn't thrilled with the request either. However, after seeing the evidence in question, I didn't think it would be at all important to the case. Thus, I let the princess have her fun. This is highly irregular. I'm not sure how to feel about this. Prosecutor? Naturally, I object to this nonsense. If the detective thinks it's irrelevant, then this is probably just a waste of time. All the evidence points to the defendant. It's still clear she did it, even without a witness at the scene. I see. I see. Defense? What do we do? If we object to presenting the evidence, then Dragmeyer loses his key witness. Plus, whatever the princess presents could be bad for our case, too. So we should agree with the prosecution? Well, on the other hand, we don't really have much to go on. This could be our only lead left. Well, surely you won't throw away all the progress you've made thus far. What do I do? I think we request the evidence because the truth will prevail. We are here to uncover the truth. And if the evidence is true and valid as determined by the courts, then that must be accepted. While I agree that the situation is irregular, we should still examine all evidence available. It'd be silly to dismiss it as irrelevant without even seeing what it is. Yep. I do believe you have a point, defense. However, I must warn you. In order to admit this piece of evidence into the court record, the princess's statement that she found it somewhere away from the scene has to be admitted as testimony. Yes, Your Honor, I'm well aware. The defense wishes to give the princess just one more chance. Of all the idiotic, foolish... I love the animation so much. Order! Very well, then. Your Highness, please testify once more about the new piece of evidence you found during your own investigation. Thank you. I will not let you down this time. The princess should understand the gravity of the situation at hand now. I just hope this new evidence isn't damaging to our case. My findings. I wish to express my most heartfelt apologies for my mistakes in the earlier testimony. Upon entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant passed out in front of the victim who was bleeding out. I stood guard at the entrance of the ranch house until the Sheikah force arrived. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. While I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strong odor in the air. I had to stop to see where it was coming from. I followed the scent and found a burned-out fire nearby and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. I, of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. And here it is, the oil bottle I found. Is something wrong? Oh no, this might actually be completely irrelevant. Yes, well, of course there is, foolish girl. Your great finding is some random fire on a ranch? Please. What next? Are you going to declare every rake on the premises suspicious? Well, This is really funny. The prosecution will calm down. This is bad. Your Honor, despite the fact that this evidence might not seem to add anything at the moment, the defense still asserts its right to a cross-examination. Some straws have been grasped. Why must you insist on this charade, defense? The princess has merely recounted the same view of the crime scene as the head detective. You haven't been able to find any contradictions in her statements. I believe there might be a way to tie the princess's new evidence into the case. Ridiculous. Regardless of what the prosecution thinks, the defense does have a right to a cross-examination. The court admits the oil bottle into evidence. I just really hope this isn't a complete waste of time, defense, for both your own sake and your clients. Was there anything else in the room? Only the beautiful little crystal bottle I mentioned before. The house was rather barren. Most of the things are on the top floor, since the downstairs room is mostly used for ranch business these days. And the occasional game. Ah, of course. Dad's famous cuckoo game. The good old days. Is the defense done reminiscing? There'll be plenty of time to do that when the defense is behind bars. I was just trying to distract myself from the fact that there's nothing to latch onto here. Let's see this. You didn't just go home. The royal visitation was supposed to last a lot longer. Father was not expecting us back at the castle until much later. I came to the ranch to examine the horses, so I suppose I could at least do that in the meantime. How long did it take the Sheikah to arrive at the scene? It does not take very long to make the trip from Hyrule Castle Town to Lon Lon Ranch. I cannot imagine it was more than 20 minutes. That is pretty fast. Although I imagine the fact that the princess was involved helped speed it up. Slowpokes. I'd be there in half that time, running backwards even. I suppose it's no surprise, though. Hylian horses are naturally inferior to our fine Gerudo steeds. The Gerudo buy horses from our... that just don't bother. He's trying to rile you up. What was the odor? Yeah. Oh, it was awful. A really terrible stench. Do not be ridiculous. The smell was not coming from the horses. A fire, huh? Now, let me remind you, defense, that there's any number of reasons why a fire could have been there. You can still feel the cold grasp of death early in the morning. Princess, how long would you estimate the fire had been out before you found it? You like she's gonna know. All right, there was still smoke rising out of the ashes, so it must have been put out recently. So around the time of the crime. So someone prepared their breakfast there? I repeat, this fire is irrelevant. I think you should realize the same thing I did. Well, who was it? Who could have lit that fire anyway? It would have to have been the ranch worker who was putting the milk shipments together at the time. It was almost certainly him. If you really want to ask about his little barbecue, you might just get your wish soon. Doesn't sound like it was very appetizing. But without anything concrete to pin on him, he'll just be able to brush it off. I, of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. So silly. Follow the procedures. She thinks she's above the law. Do you have any idea why there would be a fire at the ranch that day? No, it is pretty odd. But it sounds like it is definitely worth looking into, although it'll be hard to link it to the crime in any way. Situations like these, getting as much info as possible is my best bet. Okay. Did anything happen during that time? No, not that I recall. The guards did occasionally protest and ask me to let them take over, but I held my stance. While commendable in theory, staying in the same room as a dangerous killer isn't very wise. What if she woke up and lashed out at you? Hi, Sonic. Thanks for the raid. Hello, we're playing a Romhack. Ace Attorney, Ocarina of Time. Sweet Hylia, up above. Oh, that thought did not occur to me. Bah, of course not. Foolish girl. I like that Zelda's an idiot. Yeah. but the guards did stand close by. I would have been safe. Wonderful to see how much faith our princess has in the Holy Guard. Yes, of course I do. In any case, defense, I believe that is enough. It doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to finding a connection between this fire and the crime at all. No, I suppose not, Your Honor. Naturally. I said this was a waste of time from the beginning. In that case, this cross-examination is over. Thank you for your time, Your Highness. I assume you have no more revelations to share with us? Maybe it will be. Leave my sight. Enough. Your Highness, if you allow me to escort you back to the castle, Hyrule Castle. Very well. Now that the princess's little game is over, we should move this along. The prosecution's stance is still the same, of course. We maintain that the evidence on its own is enough to convict the defendant. I do believe I am nearly ready to hand down my verdict. Oh! But, Your Honor, there's nothing that definitively shows that Malin committed the crime. This is all circumstantial. There's no way she could kill her own father. Ah, that is an excellent point, defense. The prosecution has yet to elaborate on the defendant's motive. Patricide is not something a person commits lightly. Bah! I did briefly touch on the subject during my opening statement. But naturally, the prosecution is fully prepared to elaborate on the matter. I'd like to call in my third witness. It has to be the ranch worker. Before calling him in, though, the prosecution requests a brief recess to prepare. I thought you said you were already prepared. Maybe he wants to double-check that his new witness won't pull anything weird like the princess did. Yeah. 15 minutes. Okay, recess time. All right, we survived. That still gets me. The typewriter's so good. It's not going all that well, is it? Yeah, this hack came out like yesterday or something. No, I think that went about as well as it could have actually given the circumstances. We exposed the worst of the princess's testimony as untrue. Ugh, I can't believe she just makes stuff up like that. Yeah, that was surprising. Still, the issue is that we didn't manage to shake the core of the argument. If only there was anyone else in that house. Now, there's no need to look so glum. Detective, aren't you supposed to be escorting the princess back? The carriage is being prepared. I thought I'd drop by in the meantime. You've really managed to make Dragmire furious, you know. I have? If you listen carefully, you just might be able to hear him ranting over in the prosecutor's lobby. Ah. He's really giving his upcoming witness a grilling. Expect him to try to shut you down as fast as he can. Well, that would be worrying if I had anything he could shut down in the first place, I guess. Oh, but you do. What do you mean? Oh, come on now. I'm talking about the princess's grand discovery, of course. The fire? I wasn't able to do anything with that. You really think it's relevant? Don't get me wrong. At present, I'm convinced the girl did it. We investigated and came to this conclusion for a reason. But I'm willing to explore every possibility. That fire is definitely a bit strange, and I dare say it may be your only way out of this. If I may be so bold, I think you should press the next witness on that topic hard. As the only other person working on the ranch at the time, he is the only one who could have lit that fire. If he is hiding something, I think the court deserves to know. Thing is, the next testimony is about the motive. It's going to be difficult to bring up the fire again without Dragmire objecting. You'll have to make it work. As much as I don't like it, she's right. There really isn't a whole lot else to go on here. Well, thank you. Don't mention it. One last thing, you, ranch girl. Me? Try not to hold that testimony against the princess. Believe me, I am sure she was acting with the best of intentions in mind. You know the road to the Dark Realm is paved with those, right? Perhaps. That was definitely a serious lapse of judgment, one she will live to regret. Part of this comes from the fact that she's rather sheltered and inexperienced. After the sudden death of her older sister last year, she was thrust into the role of an heir very suddenly. That's right, the mysterious death of the firstborn Princess Zelda. Hyrule still grieves after the events of that day, and yet no one knows what exactly happened. In the void of information, conspiracy theories run amok, people blaming the royal guard, the Sheikah, and even the king himself. What? There's 2 Zeldas? The princess will soon have a whole kingdom's worth of troubles on her shoulders. For a kingdom with a history as turbulent as ours, it's a lot to handle. Did Zelda kill Talon because he was a witness to Zelda killing Zelda? What? She's wise beyond her years. She will learn and she'll be better. I simply ask that you don't think of her as... Ingo is too obvious. There ain't no way Ingo did it. I'm standing by Zelda's the culprit. Zelda 1 is dead. We're talking to Zelda 2. Detective Impa. What is it, soldier? I'm quite busy at the moment, so please be quick. The investigation team back at the ranch has just sent word of a new development. Something about a milk shipment being returned to the ranch because of a wrong recipient address. They're asking you to come over to see it. Oh, those idiots. I don't have time for this. Send someone else. I have to escort the princess to the castle. Roger. That did remind me, though. I took a bottle of milk from a couple guards who were slacking on the job earlier. Here, ranch girl, perhaps it'll help calm your nerves somewhat. Not to worry, it's still unopened. Oh? Thank you. That's nice of her. Too bad for those guards, though. Now then, I believe the princess's carriage should be prepared by now. If you'll excuse me. Oh, I think I'm so nervous right now, milk has just lost its flavor. Huh? You're right. I assume this would have come from one of yesterday's shipments. Probably. With the investigation at the ranch, there wouldn't be any today, so... maybe it just isn't fresh? What did we just drink? I think there's something odd going on. It's better to make some notes about this in the court record. Defense, the court is about to reconvene. Escort your client back to the courtroom at once. So it comes down to this. Conclusion's approaching. Time to turn the situation. Court is back in session for the trial of Malin of Lon Lon Ranch. I trust that the prosecution's final witness is ready. Naturally, I have personally seen to it that there will be no foolishness this time around. Hopefully his ears are intact. As we discussed before the recess, having established the opportunity and means for the defendants to have committed the murder, only one matter remains. The matter of motive, for naturally such a heinous crime couldn't be the result of mere happenstance. The prosecution believes the defendant had a deep desire that pushed her to patricide. Our next witness can shed light on the matter. Fascinating. Very well. Please proceed. The prosecution calls the ranch worker Ingo to the stand. He looks drunk. It's fun to see Mr. Ingo in such fancy clothes. Oh? Yeah, he almost always just wears his work dungarees? It's almost like looking at a different person. The Majora's Mask outfit, well, I guess he wanted to dress up for court. He wouldn't want to get the nice outfit dirty by working in it. Quiet, defense. Witness, state your name and occupation. Your Honor, great honorable prosecutor. My name is Ingo. I mind Lon Lon Ranch. The music is great. Mind? What does that entail exactly? I'm mostly there to work on the structures and equipment. The owner and his daughter are the ones who tend the animals and take care of orders. How long have you been working at the ranch? It'll be several years at this point. There have been others who came and went, but I, Ingo, have persevered through all the hardships. Sounds like he wants a medal for it. Well, he does get a bit pompous at times, but Mr. Ingo really is a great help. He built the ranch silo single-handedly. Whoa, that's some dedication. Very well. Given that you're clearly an important employee, you are privy to some inside information, is that correct? Yes, the ranch owner shared all the big plans with me. He trusted me implicitly. He used to say that we're like a big family. That sounds lovely. That sounds like a red flag that you're going to be getting loads of unpaid overtime. Evidently, not every member of your so-called family felt the same way, though, did they? I urge to do this, but I have no choice. Hear my story, honorable court of law. Witness testimony. The matter of motive. Just a couple days ago, the owner, Talon, partly signed the ranch over to his daughter, Malin. Talon became a life tenant, with Malin meant to inherit all of the assets after his death. As long as Talon lived, Malin could not sell the ranch. It's simple, isn't it? The girl killed Talon to get full ownership and leave the dingy ranch life behind. It's appalling how ungrateful she is after all Talon did for her. Truly tragic to witness yet another family torn apart by greed. Verify the testimony. As per the law, all inheritance documents must be filed at the Castletown Notary Office to be considered valid. I saw fit to prepare this for the trial. The prosecution would like to submit the Lon Lon Ranch inheritance document into evidence. Mr. Ingo, why would you? You should pass judgment now, Judge. The defense has nothing. Yeah, I get a cross-exam. Here we go. How long ago was this exactly? 3-4 days? I'm not sure of the exact date. Had been planned for a long time. Town was getting on in years. Better to take care of the matter sooner than later, eh? Malin? He is telling the truth. Father scheduled a visit to the notary office about a week ago. What do you mean by partly witness? So Malin hadn't become the ranch owner yet? Wow, of course not. Haven't you heard all the stories making rounds recently? So many ungrateful brats throwing their old folks into retirement homes the moment ownership signed to them. Talon was no fool. I myself convinced him that it was the safer option. If the girl was up to some chicanery, he could always reverse his decision. That's horrible. I'd never do that. As much as I like to believe that, you did much worse by killing him. Children these days, you feed them, you raise them, and they pull a stunt like this as soon as you give them an inch over yourself. I must concur, the younger generation is horrible. I need to screenshot this. I need to screenshot this right here, right now. I must concur, the younger generation is horrible. Anyway, what that meant was... as long as Talon lived, Malin... Why would Malin want to sell the ranch right now? Why wouldn't she want to? Why would a pretty little girl like her want to work on some dingy ranch? She'd have it much better if she sold the old place and used the money to move to Castletown. That's not true. I love working with the animals. I wouldn't leave them for anything. What? She's often slacking on the job while I, the hard-working Ingo, have to cover for her. I guess the Deku nut doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say. That Talon loved to sleep on the job, too. Ho ho, I do recall a quite funny story about the lawn ranch owner blocking the side entrance to Hyrule Castle for an entire day once. The guards couldn't wake him up. He took a particularly vocal cuckoo, apparently. Aw, jeez. Well, there you go. I am the real reason why the ranch has such renown. Me, the hard-working Ingo. Link, that's not true at all. I know, but how do I stop this? It's simple, isn't it? The girl killed Talon to get full ownership and leave the dingy ranch behind. Do you really think Malin would go that far? I don't want to think it, but clearly the events speak for themselves, don't they? Why wouldn't she just wait a few more years then? Talon was getting older, perhaps she knew more and more work would be piling onto her. But really, how am I supposed to know? Ask her. That's alright. Well, if Malin didn't want to work, wouldn't she have done this earlier? As Talon's only child, she'd still inherit the ranch. That's where you're wrong. For a long while, Talon planned to split the ranch between the girl and the crown? He was a patriotic man. He knew how much those horses meant to the royal guard. I wish he hadn't... Well, Zelda is not looking good for you. I wish he hadn't changed his mind now. Is this true? Yes. Father's previous inheritance document did work that way. How admirable. I guess familial bonds won over his drive to help the kingdom. Truly a shame. Yes, naturally. The girl wanted the whole thing, so she bided her time. I think this sufficiently explains the timing. Let's continue, shall we? Wait just a moment. There's one more problem with the timing that I'd like the witness to explain. Why would Malin have planned the murder for the day of the royal visitation specifically? More people around means more witnesses. You'd think she would have chosen any other day. Oh, did I forget to mention this? I overheard Talon arguing with her that very morning. He was telling her he'd changed his mind again. He was planning to tell the king that he'd be signing the ranch over to the crown. After the visitation was over, he'd head to Castletown to change the inheritance back to the original split. What? Despite the victim's wishy-washiness, it would appear he did make the right choice in the end. And because of that choice, the defendant wanted to get the ranch. She had no time to waste that day. Always add facts, okay? It's better than ignoring stuff. About what time did this happen? First thing in the morning. I was heading out to the silo to start the day's work. I had just walked out the front door of the ranch house when I heard some yelling erupt behind me. Do you remember any specifics about what was said? Oh yes. It surprised me enough that I stopped to listen for a minute. It was all like, I'm real sorry, Malin, but the most important thing is to make sure the king will always have a steady supply of quality horses. I don't care. What about me, father? How can you do this to me? Malin, this isn't just about you. It's for this animation's hilarious. It's for the good of the entire kingdom. But what am I supposed to do? I can't move up in life if I'm stuck on this dump of a ranch forever. I thought you loved the ranch. All the animals are here, and Ingo's always around to help out with the chores, too. He's pretty great, isn't he? Yeah, Ingo is awesome, but I still hate you for this. This isn't over. What a stirring reenactment. I will keep my thoughts on the witness's acting skills to myself. There's no way this actually happened, though. Mal would never want to sell the ranch. Oh. Remember, she's under suspicion for murder. We can't trust a thing she says. Well, I trust her, but the judge probably doesn't right now, and that's unfortunately what matters. Do I have anything in the court record that could refute the story? If you ask me, this whole inheritance issue could have been avoided if the crown wasn't so soft. In Gerudo Desert, there would be no question that the fortress may seize whatever it desires. That's just messed up. No matter. Continue your testimony, farmhand. Share with us that true nature of the defendant. No, you hold it! That man gave everything for her. She's got so many expensive presents over the years. Just look at that golden necklace she's wearing. That man spoiled her rotten. In fact, I think I saw another present he was meaning to give her on that very day he was killed. Another gift? Why yes, a little bottle of perfume, I believe. It's horrible. Talon was such a kind man. What happened to him is despicable. Was that last statement important? Yes. Because previously they said it was a gift. The perfume was a gift for the crown, right? Not for Malin. Bah, what are you doing? Trying to implicate the defendant even harder? I think it's an important detail. The perfume is irrelevant. But I suppose the prosecution has no objections to strengthening our case. Very well, witness. Please add what she has said to your testimony. No, it's always better to get more truth. I don't ignore the truth. Talon often bought Malin gifts. I saw the latest one, some kind of perfume. I think it was just lying around the ranch house. Talon probably intended to give it to Malin one day, on the day he was killed. Do you mean this witness? Why yes, that's exactly it. Looks very expensive. If only Talon had spent so much on a salary for me. The hard-working Ingo. I get up and leave to do work at the break of dawn every day, you know. What's your relationship with this guy, anyway? Well, he's been employed and living with us on the ranch for as long as I can remember, really. You know, I don't think he's ever skipped a day of work thinking about it. Not a single one. Talk about dedication. Bad even, but even so, something is very much off here. Oh! See, gift for the princess. Witness. What is it? Just to confirm, you say that this bottle of perfume was bought for Malin by her father, correct? What else would it be for? I assure you, Talon wasn't the type to indulge in perfumes. Far from it. Well, you're wrong, witness. Oh, is that so? Was the ranch owner truly a perfume connoisseur? No, Your Honor. This bottle of perfume was bought for the princess. So what, defense? Sure, it's technically a contradiction, but what is the purpose of this bottle change? Yes, defense, I admit I'm confused as well. Please explain why this point is important. Early in the trial, Malin mentioned that Talon bought this perfume in preparation last minute. Isn't that right, Malin? It sure is. We had a gift for the king prepared when the news arrived that it would actually be the princess making the visitation. Father quickly rode out into town to get a new gift. This info puts one thing into question. It's one of these last two. Which one is it? Once again, Her Highness's testimony must be wrong. The princess did mention seeing the perfume bottle in the ranch house. How does that contradict what this witness said at all? Oh. Rip. My health! Someone's moves around the ranch are putting serious doubt. Someone's? Well, don't keep us waiting then, defense. Who is this person? Naturally, the person whose move has become suspect is... Talon himself? Oh. Rip. Maybe stuck in the labyrinth that is I like how they have dialogue for everything. Meanwhile, the defense can try to get out of the labyrinth that is their own convoluted mind. That was worth the heart. That was funny. Well, it's one of three. The witness himself. If you recall, this bottle of perfume, which had just been purchased, was found at the crime scene. A crime scene the witness supposedly never went to. You shouldn't have known about the bottle. I totally knew that. Ah! Order, order! The defense raises a very valid point. You simpleton, what is the meaning of this? Well, witness, did you go to the scene of the crime at any point? No, of course I didn't. I was working in the silo all day. I remember I saw the gift the day before the crime. The girl is lying. Tal must have gotten a gift the day before. You're the one who's lying. Father didn't leave the ranch at all that day. One's word against another's. Defense? Do you have any way to prove that your version of events is true? Do you have a receipt? When you buy something, you usually get a receipt. And the receipt always shows the date of purchase. It might still be at the ranch house. I say we send someone out to look for it. I believe this idea has some merit. Soldiers, rush out to the ranch house immediately and search for that receipt. Your Honor. Yes? What is it, soldier? We have just received the receipt from the team stationed at the crime scene. Oh. Very well, thank you. I shall now read it out. There's a lot writing on this. From Tingle's Mysterious Smells. Oh no. Ah yes, I think I've seen that store. Garish place, eccentric looking place in the back alley. Is this what's behind the green door? You couldn't miss the blinding neon colors if you tried. It's an utter eyesore. The gall of this nobody running a monopoly on highly-end perfume is preposterous. Perhaps, but back to the matter at hand. The nerve of that dunderhead. Why would anyone ever shop at a store where the owners call every other customer a fairy? Prosecutor? And the balloons? Oh, the balloons. That fool popped one right in my face. Prosecutor Dragmire, enough. Continuing on, purchased item, 1 bottle of Rosy Rupee Land. Oh, that's the name of Tingle's video game. Japanese only video game. Yeah. Oh my. This is quite the price. Why, I would have to... Your Honor, please. The date of purchase. Ah yes, right. Date of purchase. Why, it's March 16th. The day of the murder. Oh! Yeah! Whoa! Order. Yes, we got him. Phew, I think we're finally getting somewhere. Bah, this still doesn't mean anything. Perhaps the witness briefly went back to the ranch house for something and saw the bottle then. Yes, that's it. I was getting thirsty, so I went back to get a drink. I must have seen the bottle then. Oh, come on, you think we're gonna believe that? Do you have any proof that he didn't? Well, I believe this calls for further testimony. God damn it. As the witness now claims to have visited the crime scene shortly before the murder, we should learn of his exact movements that day. My movements? Well, all right. There's not a whole lot to say, though. It's unfortunate that he managed to weasel out of that. But this next testimony will be full of lies. He was making up so much shit. My non-suspicious movement. As was already stated, I had volunteered to work in the asylum. At one point, I briefly went back to the ranch house to get myself a glass of water. I went back to the silo right after that and stayed there until the courier came. I haven't been back to the ranch house at all since then. At some point, the detective came and told me what happened, and wow, was that detective one fine woman. Hi, Ponko. What's up, Ponko? Hi. Eat my shoes, you brat. Wow, I'll pass. Here, Ponko, come sit in the chair. Come sit in the chair with me. Yeah. Hi, Ponko. Meow. Meow. As already stated, I had volunteered to work in the silo. What were you doing? Working on shipments and fulfilling orders. We send out crates of milk to milk bars all across the kingdom every day, you know. Milk bars? Naturally, everyone loves a good drink, you know. And our milk is renowned as the best there is. I hear some others water theirs down. Despicable. I see. I think you said earlier that your job is to work on the structures and equipment, though. Indeed. Talon and the girl would usually be the ones overseeing milk orders. However, since the royal visitation was happening that day, I felt they needed their minds unoccupied, so I took it upon myself to do it this time. After the murder, I got scared that the Sheikah Force's investigation would delay the shipment and that I, the Great Ingo, would get the blame. Thankfully, it all went through fine. Yeah, you were so concerned with sending it off quickly that you wrote the wrong delivery address on it. Bah, you Hylians, ridiculous. Getting tipsy from something like milk? Bet you couldn't handle even a sip of the Gerudo's noble pursuit. A real man's drink. A real man's drink, aren't most of the Gerudo women? Speaking of drinks, I believe the witness was talking about how he had gotten himself a glass of water. Yes, of course, moving all that heavy stuff around works up a sweat, you see. I got very thirsty and... You didn't think to just take a sip of the milk you were handling? No, it wouldn't be right. That milk was for the customers, you see. I just didn't want to get into any trouble. A truly honest man, how dare you suggest you would steal? Right. So what do you see at the house? Nothing much, I got my drink and left. Still had a lot of work to do, you see. I suppose I must have seen the perfume bottle then. In fact, yes, I remember it clearly now. I was there. It was there on the table, plain as day. Woo-ha-ha. Great. What happened after that, witness? And you were able to complete this so quickly on your own? Blah. You don't know the might of the Great Ingo. Hut, yeah, pow, wham! I get all things done in no time. I did almost break my back getting those crates out of the silo, though. There were so many and all so heavy. There's like a puzzle in there. Anyway, that's not important. The point is, I haven't been back to the ranch house at all since then. Are you sure? Sure as can be. Ooh-ha-ha. You never went back in, even after the crime was discovered? Bah, they wouldn't let me in. Preserving the crime scene or some such. I couldn't even get any of my things. After I was questioned, no one gave me half a glance. I had to sleep in the stables that night. It was terrible. Is what he said important? It is important. Your Honor, I would like the witness to add his last statement to his testimony. The fire was put out the day before. Whatever. Press. Couldn't she have stayed at an inn? Bah, what am I, made of money? Think, boy, I'm just a simple ranch worker, you know? You lawyers always flaunting your wealth. Right, sorry. Not actually sorry. I doubt one night would bankrupt this guy. Just look at what he's wearing. Could you elaborate? She's a hard-working woman and gets to the point and takes what she wants. Not to mention her impeccable fashion sense. What's not to love? Hey-ya! Wow! Alright. Oh wait, hang on. Kiara's figured out my brain is massive. Badge. Badge. I think statement 4 or 5 are what we got. Sure. No, I'm so dead. Ah! I'm so dead. Uh-oh. What's the consult? It just gives me the answer. Heck. I was thinking he picked up the oil, but yeah, I guess he picked up his clothes. I was getting that he went back there for something, but what are you talking about? You say you couldn't get any of your belongings because they were all at the ranch house, correct? A ranch house you were not allowed to go in? That's right. Well, that would imply you should still be wearing your work clothes. Pardon me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I was thinking like they got the oil from the house, because why would you just have oil, a jar of oil sitting around, right? Well, what do you have to say to that? Grrr. Whoa! I can explain. It's simple. These are brand new, yeah. On my way to the courthouse, I went shopping for a nice new outfit. After all, I couldn't very well show up to court dressed like a bum. Yet you couldn't afford a house or a hotel. This is my finest Zora suit. So you claim you bought these clothes after the crime, is that correct? Very much so. This morning, in fact. Why do I need to repeat myself? I don't accept the explanation. You buying those clothes today is simply impossible. What? Oh? How can you claim so? Defense. As you know, evidence is everything in court. Uh-oh. I think I'm dead. I don't know. Smile if you see it. Smile if you see it. Yeah, that doesn't... Kenshiro and Kenshiro, Spirit Eater, and Damon Katsumaro, no. Today is not the day of the crime, right? Today is March 17th. When did he die? Am I hosed? I don't see it. Oh yeah, that says 15th March. So the murder was 15th March. We're March 17th, so we're 2 days after, right? Like, the only thing it could be is like, oh, oil bottle, you were burning a fire. But at the same time, I don't know. Also, if it's... Is it March 17th? Shit. Shit. I'm dead. Mm. Anything that happened day of doesn't matter, right? Because today is the day after. So what I'm trying to get at is he wouldn't have been able to get his wallet, right? His money. Because he was never let out, right? I don't think it's a profile. Every item is older than today. Also, Shinobu, cool it on the hints. I'm still thinking. I'll ask for hints if I need it. I forget what the arrow means. Whatever. Rip. And she's being sent to the chair. Dang. Wasn't perfect. What? Why didn't that work? Oh, okay, I needed this. There we go. Oh wait, did I put? Did I actually go through a minute? Oh wait, what did I do? Shit. Well, I already lost 2 hearts because I spammed through too quick and didn't pay attention. uh... Wasn't the oil. Okay. Like, this is irrelevant. Oh. The family photo. Look at this picture. Look at what Ingo is wearing. The photo is from Malin's childhood, but Ingo is very clearly wearing the same outfit he has on right now. He couldn't have bought it today. Yeah! Order, I will have order. Why, the defense is absolutely correct. I hope the witness has a good explanation for this. Is he weaseling? Isn't it obvious? Naturally, the witness knew he would need to wear his nice clothes for the royal visitation that was scheduled for that day. Ah, yes, I changed my testimony. Oh? Yes. Oh ho. Oh ho ho ho. Oh! Yes, of course. I need to be presentable after all. Can't look like a bum in front of the most important people in the kingdom. This is insane. What kind of kangaroo court is this? The prosecution keeps making excuses up on the spot. Ingo is clearly lying about buying the clothes before the trial. He's definitely trying to hide something. Your Honor, surely you won't accept this blatant perjury. What's this? Ingo's acting really suspicious right now. He's desperately trying to patch up holes in his testimony to conceal his real movements. Why would he be doing that? Ingo has a wardrobe at the silo. Ingo is the victim. Ingo is the murderer. If it's not Malin, Ingo is the only other person who could have done this. I have to assume he did if I want to think Malin is innocent. With that in mind, why would Ingo change out of his work clothes? They're bloody. When Ingo killed Talon, his clothes must have gotten blood on them. He had to change into something else to hide his involvement. But then wouldn't the Sheikah force have found the clothes in the house? What if it's Zelda? How could they have disappeared? They were stolen, they were thrown in fire. The bad smell. I was really hoping Zelda did it, you know. This is really silly. Ingo burned his clothes. That's it. This explains everything. Hopefully I did it right. I believe I can offer an alternative explanation. Nonsense. Judge, the defense spent far too long sitting in silence just now. They clearly just made something. I call for a quick ruling. And not only can I explain it, but in fact, the defense formally accuses the witness of the murder. No! It's simple. The reason he had to swap his outfit and why he's been lying about the circumstances ever since is because it got stained with the victim's blood. Preposterous. If there were any discarded bloody clothes nearby, the Sheikah force would have found them, and we would be trying someone else for the murder right now. Why, you're absolutely correct, prosecutor. Huh? Naturally, Ingo couldn't have left his bloody clothes lying around. And so I used this to dispose of them. Your Honor, cast your mind to the princess's last testimony. The princess's? Ah! The mysterious fire. Surely you jest. You yourself made sure we all knew how meaningless her testimony was. And yet, with this new context in mind, it gains a completely new meaning. An empty bottle of lamp oil found by a burned-out fire. Ingo used this lamp oil to quickly burn away his stained work clothes. Well, how about it, witness? My scenario explains everything. You killed Talon and then tried to hide it. This is... No. Hold on. What drivel are you spouting here? Me? Kill Talon? You already know that's impossible. Too busy for murder. Everything you've said is wrong. I have no idea what you're on about. I have an alibi for the time of the crime. There's no way I could have completed those milk shipments, killed Talon, and tried to hide my involvement. The fire was just made for a quick breakfast. There is no mystery there. Stop trying to pin this on poor innocent Ingo. Now, I shouldn't have to... What do you mean I'm scary? Am I scary? Am I scary right now? Oh, you watched my short. Okay. Adding even more things for him to do in that time is preposterous. That's right. The great Ingo is efficient at his job, but not that efficient. No, it had to have been him. I'm sure of it. There must be some trick at play here. Some kind of shortcut. Yeah, the shitty milk and the wrong address. Would it really have taken that long to murder someone and burn some clothes? It would have taken long enough to definitely make the scheme infeasible. Completing these shipments is a rather involved process. You have to milk the cows, clean the bottles, pour the milk into them, put them into crates, and load those onto a wagon. I love working with the cows, but that part takes the longest because you only get a little at a time. So as Mr. Ingo said, the whole thing really doesn't take a while. Father and I usually have to work together to get it done in time for the cruise, right? There you go, defense. Your own client knows this is the unshakable truth. Okay, so there's no way he could complete these shipments and also do the killing. In that case, there had to be some way for him to finish the work faster. I just had to find it. Tasteless milk. Ah, but did you though? Did you really complete those shipments properly? Oh, I'm sure it looked that way. What are you getting at, defense? Here you go, Your Honor. I'd like you to drink this milk. Drink, please. Here, Judge, please drink my milk. Yeah. Are you trying to bribe the judge? No, I didn't think he'd stoop so low. The Crown will be informed of this. Oh, it's nothing like that. I'm asking, is that His Honor tried tasting my milk? Oh, the milk. God, it would be so funny if it said tasting my milk. Just one little sip. This is highly irregular. But I am quite thirsty. This game's great. Is this what passes for milk these days? This is almost like water. Water? I have to agree, this is definitely not standard milk. As we've heard from the Princess and the Detective, Lon Ranch is renowned for the quality of its products. But there's no way people would say that about milk this lousy. Bah. Whatever. As if the unwashed masses would know the difference between quality and garbage. Where are you going with this, defense? Hang on. It did the watch streaks break? Hi, Happy Toaster. Kumoika, EC Green, Mellyfan, were you at the last stream to redeem it? I'm wondering if there's a unless you cheated. Ingo watered down the milk to get the shipments done in time. But yeah, Kumoika, this is actually really an EC Green. This would be good info to have. Were you in stream yesterday and redeemed that reward? Let me stop you right there. I will concede that something odd happened to that shipment. But all you have proven is that Ingo is a slacker. How dare you? Well, no. But now we do know that he definitely could have done it. Crealia, should that streak be continued? Have you done it all the time? If so, we have a bug. Rebuttal? Alright, we've got some. Let's pause the recording here real quick. You lack the murder weapon. If Ingo was the murderer, then it couldn't have been the saw. Uh-oh. And why is that? It's simple. If the girl's story about working on the fence is true, then she was using the saw while her father was being murdered. It couldn't have been in two places at the same time. Do I agree with this? Oh. I think that is correct. There's only one saw. Couldn't he have used any old thing? Either answer the question, defense, or this discussion is over. You don't need to overthink this. Anywhere Ingo could have gotten a weapon from will do. I'll worry about the exact details later. Ranch inventory. There's a lot of shit in here, right? I think that's the obvious one, right? Have you forgotten this murder happened on a ranch? There are plenty of sharp things on site. Ho ho! That's simply impossible. Where were the supposed other? Oh. We checked all sharp objects on the ranch and searched everyone. No fresh blood was found anywhere else. Couldn't Ingo have just wiped it off? Blood leaves traces. It's not that easy to get rid of. People like us aren't so sensitive, but other beings like the Zoras can easily tell by smell. Naturally, the Sheikah Force employs people for just this task. Of course they do. Also, as Lowland Ranch focuses on selling horses and milk, the animals there aren't regularly butchered. So, there's no good reason why any of the tools would have fresh blood on them. Any such implements would have stood out like a sore thumb. Well, I guess that is a good point. I may have to rethink this. Couldn't Ingo have just... Bah, the kingdom's best investigators are on this case. We found no signs of anything buried on the premises, and even if Ingo skipped part of his work, he still wouldn't have had time to hide anything very far from the ranch. He may be an idiot, but do you really think he would have risked the weapon being found? Hi, Eddie. Ocarina of Time Ace Attorney, yeah. Link is a lawyer. Look at his suit and his lawyer badge, yeah. Well, I guess that is a good point. I may have to rethink this. We're defeating Malon from Talon's murder, yeah. Badge. Talon died. Yeah. Oh, it could be in this crate. With this piece of evidence, I've won the argument. No! It's sent to the wrong address, so it's only temporarily gone. No! I thought that was worth looking into. Is it just wanting the cloth? Ah, rip. That's blood found somewhere else. And I'm dead. Guilty. Rip, I'm dead. Death number 2. Alright, we gotta get back. Eddie, check the general channel in my Discord for another thing. Maybe that's bad. Oh, we figured it out. I didn't know there's another option. No items from the ranch's inventory list were missing. That list is indisputable. Ingo made the list, dude. I can be so sure the inventory is accurate. The ranch owner needed everything to be in order. He would have double, even triple checked that list when he wrote it. I suppose he would have, but... Ingo wrote it. Fascinating. What exactly makes you question the valid veracity of the document? Yeah. Point out exactly. I hope the detection is good. Just look here. The one who compiled this list was Ingo himself. He could have easily falsified the counts as part of his plan. Ugh. That doesn't matter. No items from the ranch. Yeah. Nothing could have left the ranch. Oh, I was a step ahead. Okay, I was a step ahead. Wouldn't Ingo have been able to just throw the item out over the fence? Bah. Obviously, we searched the perimeter of the ranch as well. Nothing was found anywhere. This is the most important point. There's nothing really been Oh, do I have to present the other ones first? God dang it. I thought this would imply. It's fine. We'll reprint the other crate. I was 2 steps ahead. I was too smart. I was too smart, okay? Really sure nothing left the ranch. What about a few little shipments of milk? Preposterous. Have you forgotten that said shipments have been checked by the Sheikah force before they were allowed to leave? That's true, but there was a place the Sheikah could have overlooked. What in Din's name are you babbling about? We're talking about bog standard crates here, boy. Not exactly vast dungeons full of nooks and crannies for to stuff things into, are they? Where could they have missed a murder weapon? It's simple. They overlooked the crates themselves. That is not... I was thinking secret compartment. This is not the direction I was thinking it would go. I was thinking there's a secret compartment, but... Shit. There's one place inside the crates that the Sheikah couldn't have checked thoroughly without ruining the shipments. Without ruining the shipments? That's right. Ingo put it, yeah. That does seem plausible. Objection. Hang on, what do you say? Ingo put the murder inside one of the bottles. Yeah. Nothing could have left the ranch. A weapon in a milk bottle wouldn't just go unnoticed. Someone would have reported it. But they had. How could you be so sure? Do you even know how much milk an average milk bar uses each day? All those shipments have most certainly been completely used up by now. Someone drinking from that bottle would have found it for sure and choked on it even if it took too large a swig. It would be a huge scandal. Well, he's right about that, but he's missing some vital information. Now we get to the return crate. You'd be correct that a weapon showing up in someone's milkshake would cause quite a stir. If the milk ever actually made it to any milk bar, that is. You see, I overheard a very interesting tale during the recess. Word was sent from the ranch not long ago that one of the shipments was returned unopened due to being misaddressed. What? No! Indeed, if you recall, Ingo was the one who handled all of that. Now, that's strange. The ranch supplies the same milk bars every day. Even if he had messed up the street address a little, the couriers would have known where the shipment was meant to go. How could you have bungled it that badly? Oh! It's almost as if he didn't want anyone receiving a bottle of milk with a murder weapon in it. I bet Ingo expected this box to stay in shipping limbo a while longer. How unfortunate for him that the postal service was on its game today. Maybe because they were worried it'd start to smell. I believe this calls for us to investigate these boxes of milk more closely. Soldiers, have these boxes retrieved from the ranch immediately. Yo, health refill. Grah, this is slander. Why would I kill Talon? Sure, he's a bit of a layabout, but he did give me a job. Why would I want him dead? The motive? That's simple. Why, I'm surprised you're even asking about it. It's the will. The very inheritance document you brought to the court's attention states the following. In case of the testator's death, his daughter, Malin of Lon Ranch, will inherit the ranch, unless she is unable to oversee it, in which case it shall be divided between the crown and the remaining employees. Wow! You not only killed Talon, but decided to frame Malin for the crime as well, so you would be the one to inherit part of the ranch. That's why you volunteered to work in the silo all day, gave you an alibi so that Malin would be the only possible culprit. Of course, you knew about the royal visitation in advance. You knew Malin would go back to the ranch house to prepare before they arrived. A perfect setup for the royals to find her next to the body. No. What are you talking about? Talon singing the ranch over to me? Signing the ranch over to me? Preposterous. Did you really not know? I guess it was Dragmeyer who procured the actual document, not him. Your Honor. What is it, soldier? The box you requested is here. Oh shit, already? That was quite fast. Apparently the team at the ranch had already noticed something awry with it on their own. The box arrived just as we were about to rush out a courier to deliver our message. Well, let's see for ourselves then, shall we? The part of the shipment that proves my case is... Here it is, from the bottle with the slight red tint to the milk. Looks like some kind of serrated knife. That explains the irregular wound pretty nicely. How could those Sheikah idiots have missed this? I'm sure the milk was pure white when they first checked it. It took a whole day for the blood to dissolve in it. Either way, no matter how you slice it, this proves my theory right. Grah. Oh, I've had it. Fine. You want to know why? You want to know why I really killed that scumbag? Oh, shit! No, what are you? So you admit it? Yes, I admit it. What would you do if one day, after years of backbreaking labor, despite putting your all into the ranch, you were thrown away like rubbish without any reason? Fired. Farewell. We don't need you anymore. What? That doesn't make any sense. Ho ho! Don't lie. I heard it all. I was just returning back from another day of spine-wrenching work, and lo and behold, what's this? Mal and Talon are talking behind my back. I heard it all. We'll let him go after the visitation. We can handle things without him. And so, after volunteering to work on that shipment, I quietly slipped out while the girl was busy and shanked the good-for-nothing slacker. Ha! You should have seen his face. He didn't expect it at all. So yes, Malin, I killed that lazy bum you called a father. And he deserves it. Order! The witness will cease his boasting over such a terrible deed. I think we've heard enough. Soldiers, take him away. Hold it! Wait just a moment. Ingo? Yes, girl? Want to apologize for what you've done? Apologize? Me? You're horrible! We weren't planning to fire you at all. Oh wait, what did you say? You completely misunderstood what we were saying. We've had so much work recently. Wow, well. You know how it goes with the royal visits. Always a busy time. Gotta make sure everything's in tip-top shape. I do worry somewhat about old Ingo, though. He's been complaining about his back recently. Do wish he'd take a step back and relax sometime. Maybe we should convince him to take a vacation? Waha! Now there's an idea. It'd do him good to just get out for a while. I'll discuss it with him after the visitation. After things calm down, we can handle everything without him. Wah, wah, wah. That's... You. You were planning... What? A vacation for me? And I didn't. No. No, it can't be so. Please say it isn't so. Well, you hacked up, Ingo. Death by chicken in the courtroom? And he's dead. Death by chicken. We have witnessed today the results of a truly horrifying misunderstanding. But misunderstanding or not, what you have done is unforgivable. Talon was a kind man beloved by all who had the good fortune to cross his path. His loss will be felt not only at this ranch, but all across Hyrule. The killer turned out to be an utterly pathetic man with delusions of grandeur. I mean, look at him. An utter idiot dressed like a clown. Oh, he cried. Gee, he's really laying into him. I bet he's just upset because he lost. The prosecution's rant aside, I think it is time to declare today's verdicts. This is just a formality, but will the defendant please step up and stand? Young miss, I am very sorry for the situation you have found yourself in. I am very glad you appear to have such a good attorney as a friend. I wouldn't have chosen anyone else. Aw, thanks. Now then, without further ado, in the name of Goddess Hylia and the sacred land of Hyrule, I hereby find Malin of Lon Lon Ranch not guilty. Yay! Court is adjourned. March 17th, 12:32 p.m. Hyrule, Grand Courts, Defendant Lobby, number 3. We did it! I suppose so. I guess Ingo's outburst kind of soured the mood, huh? I don't think I could ever forgive Mr. Ingo for what he's done. That's fair enough, honestly. Really, though, you shouldn't think about that for now. You're free. It's time to celebrate. I guess you're right. Excellent work. I knew you'd pull through. Oh, thanks. I couldn't have done it without you, really. So, thank you. Now, that's not quite right. If you want to thank someone, I'm not the one who deserves it the most. Huh? Oh, Zelda, Your Highness? I thought you were going back to the Hyrule Castle. What strings did Impa have to pull to get her here? I was, but I realized I should apologize for what I did personally. It's an honor. Ah, there is. No need to bow. No, not after what I've done. Really, if not for my status, I would have probably been carted off to prison alongside that angry little man. Perjury is, pretty serious. That's probably not entirely wrong. As usual, you don't give yourself enough credit, Your Highness. How can you say that, Detective? I almost condemned an innocent person to prison. Yes, there are some things you should think twice about doing in the future. But it's all thanks to you that the young lady over here finally went free. Huh? Come on, attorney, show Her Highness what I'm talking about. What did she say? The bottle. Well, it's true. Without this, and without knowing about the fire, we wouldn't have had any proof to substantiate our claims. And really, your obviously false testimony helped us a lot. In any case, I'm sure Miss Malin isn't too upset. Well, sure. Ten Hut. You have orders to escort the princess back to the castle immediately. Ah, just in time. Farewell, Your Highness. And so they left. Now then, listen to me. I know that I am perhaps being too lenient on the princess, but tough times are ahead. The princess will need all the confidence she can get to lead the kingdom through them. She needs to learn to take responsibility for her actions too, though. And she will. Huh? Her Highness is in for a rather unpleasant afternoon today, I imagine. The urgency with which she has just been escorted out of here isn't coincidental. What is the king going to scold her? At the very least. What? Now then. My duties call, unfortunately, so I must be off. Again, you did well today, both of you. I trust that I will be able to rely on you in future court proceedings as well. I'll try my best. That's all I ask. That unpleasant prosecutor seems to be making his way over here, so I'll be excusing myself post-haste. Farewell. Uh-oh. You! Hello. Nice day we're having, isn't it? Tell me, now, where did that blasted detective go? To have my reputation tarnished this way by some novice attorney from the boonies? Dramatic much? He looks about ready to burst from anger. Don't be such a sore loser. You lost. Deal with it. Yeah, we got the right verdict. Doesn't that make you even a little bit glad? Yes, I suppose there is some worth in that. What transpired is most unfortunate. I can only offer my condolences. Just remember that it was the meddling of that idiotic princess and the stupidity of that blasted detective that led to your arrest. So if you have any grievances, take it up with them. I suppose there is some truth to what he's saying. Speaking of the detective, it appears she has fled from me like a cuckoo on fire. Mark my words, she'll regret what she's done for generations. Quoting the credits of OT. Well, or the ending of OT. Well, that sure was something. I don't know if he was being insincere or just wanted to shift blame onto someone else. I wouldn't say he's entirely blameless. Never mind that. Do you think you'll be all right running the ranch by yourself? Of course, I'll come visit, but I have my attorney duties to do. I'll get in touch with the castle, see if they could spare some men to work at the ranch. Silly as my father may have seemed, he really did prepare me to take over one day, and he's taught me well. I'll make sure the animals are well cared for, just as I always have. Aww. That's the spirit. I believe in you. I really want to thank you for bringing the truth to light. If it wasn't for you, I don't even want to think about what could have happened. Don't mention it. I'm just glad everything worked out at the end. And so ended a very personal case for me. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my back. Malin continued working at the ranch, hoping to make it prosper even beyond what her father was able to accomplish. I didn't really think much about it, but the days following were some of the happiest I'd lived for a long time. Little did I know that a terrible tragedy would soon shock the entire kingdom, and I'd find myself smack dab in the middle of it. But that's a legend for another day. Secret sequel plans. Oh, this is great. This is really good. Very well done. The attention to detail. I think the thing that impressed me the most in all of this, more than anything, were all the animations that they did with these models. Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 ROM hack. Yeah. Custom music, yeah. I don't know who Skawo is, but I do now. Yeah. That was super cool. Yeah. That was a full court session from an Ace Attorney game right there. Everything. Just missing the investigation part, but you know, it's fine that they didn't have that there. Yeah, modeling the whole courtroom is super awesome. The first game did have investigation segments, yeah. Every game has had those. Yeah, case 1 was the tutorial, yeah. Yeah, I feel with how much potential there is here, with the core built, they could probably do another case without, I mean, just starting with this as a template, and a lot of that's already done. A lot of the busy work's already done, and like you could focus on coming up with a new scenario and new text, and you know, depending on how they constructed it. But yeah, I feel like they're definitely gonna do more if they had fun. If they had fun with it. Cafe. Bring in Cafe, the prosecutor from a foreign land. Yeah. That could be fun. Look, they even made an office with a cat for Impa in Kakariko Village. Like that's super cool. You get to see the inside of Impa's house in more detail. Aww. Rip. Mushroom. Hey, they put mushrooms there. They put mushrooms in front of his grave because he's Mario. Cute. Very cute. The end. This was so much fun. Wow. That was great. That was so good. I can see this getting a lot of traction on Twitch. A lot of people will play this. I'm sure
Nice
people have already told Spike to play it. Yeah. This is fantastic. Yeah, it's so different. It's so unique, and it combines two of my favorite games. Like it's super well done. I'm gonna say something, okay? This hack is as well done as Amoeba and Test Runner's ROM hack of Super Metroid. Yeah. In terms of ROM hacks quality, I think this is right up there with yours. If you have not played Amoeba's co-produced Super Metroid ROM hack, it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Made literally an entire Metroid game. Yeah, it's super good. Yeah, that was awesome. All right, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for enjoying this. Yeah, this was awesome. This was super awesome. I had so much fun.